So round 2 of 3, and very close at the moment, Josh.
Yeah, certainly is. Very, very close. Round 1. Both guys had some good positional control, had their moments. A bit of more damage landed by Miller, but a lot more control from Isidro, so a very even round.
And as we said in the break between rounds, Miller is more confident upright. He started as a kickboxer in his youth, and you can see that the way he throws his kicks and his foot movement and the way he pokes out his jab, that actually he's more comfortable.
Yeah, I think he'll also take a lot of confidence from being able to survive like that on the ground with a higher level jiu-jitsu practitioner. You know, he was in a couple of sticky spots, but he managed to really fight his way out very competently.
And a super little right hand followed by a short left hook. Isidro's got to be careful standing and trading here.
Yeah, a bit more head movement. He should probably be trying to really fake his way into those clinches. We've seen as soon as he gets hold of his man, you know, he's got a lot of power in those takedowns. He needs to start putting that to use here.
Yes, he's got to be careful. That right hand slipped just off the chin, and the left hook wasn't far behind, so Miller is finding his range. But as we saw before, there's been no attempt by Isidro. Once he decides to go in, he just goes for it, doesn't he? No disguise.
Yeah, he certainly does. I think as we go deeper into this round, without Isidro scoring that takedown, the momentum starts to swing towards Jordan Miller.
And again, nice little jab out there for Miller. But as you said before, Josh, all single shots. I wonder when he'll get the confidence to start maybe some combinations.
Well, I'm surprised Isidro didn't take that opportunity to clinch, catching the kick. Normally a very prevalent opportunity to push forward and get the body lock.
It is a dangerous game he's playing. There's a little uppercut there again from Miller. Maybe it's psychological from Isidro standing and trading with him.
Possibly. I think Miller will be very happy with how this second round's going so far, though. He's landing some good consistent shots, and whilst it's not worrying the chin of Isidro too much, they're scoring shots that are landing.
Exactly, and there comes a time when it might worry, because as you said quite rightly, both those rights did just skim, but that one little extra step in, that little bit of turn with the shoulder, and it could be lights out.
Yeah, it looks to me like Jordan Miller has a fairly reasonable reach advantage here as well. It'd be nice to see him really get on the end of that jab, start putting it to a bit more use.
Yeah, a bit of disguise as well with the low kicks. He did a few, he hasn't done any since.
I am very surprised that Isidro hasn't tried to really close the distance again and just, you know, control for dominance on the ground where he's going to be more comfortable. His energy systems are going to be more adapted to that type of fight. Just really, I honestly thought that would be his game plan here.
Well, the other thing as well that we might have to take into consideration is maybe he feels he's felt the power of Miller and isn't impressed. There is that side to it.
Yeah, certainly is, but he's getting his head snapped back every so often here by the jab of Jordan Miller.
And there's that right, it lands more solidly, but here's what I'm saying about maybe Isidro not being so worried. He took it flush.
Yeah, and Isidro immediately opted to shoot. It was a good takedown attempt to change level very well, and as soon as he's in on the cage, huge amplitude on the slam.
And Miller straight back up.
Yeah, that's something we've seen. If you really throw a guy high, it's very hard to control him as you hit the ground. Often it's far more better to drag the guy down, and that way you secure a tight position. But we saw he got the amplitude, huge slam, no control.
And short little knees from Miller to the thigh, to the left thigh of Isidro. And he's very much in this round, very much in this fight. And a little mouse on the left eyebrow of Isidro from that Miller right hand.
Now that was a much better takedown. It was a good reap. He's immediately got the opportunity to work to the back or sit here in this side wedge, start landing some shots.
Yes, but I think whatever else happens, Miller has now got his attention. As Isidro, as I said, when that third right landed, it was almost to say, well, I can take the best that you've got. And then with the slam and him getting back up, I think Miller has really made Isidro think now.
Yeah, some good fundamental work from Miller. We've just seen he managed to get back to his feet, use the cage to scrape Isidro off, and then he started pummeling back for his underhooks. That's very good fundamental cage awareness and wrestling from Jordan Miller.
So we see the blood on Miller's chest. For looking from this position, Josh, it's not from his own face, So I wonder if in that exchange there might be a bit of facial damage to Isidro. Well, that's bizarre because it's only small, maybe a small nosebleed. But second round, you could make a good case for Miller there.
I think that second round is going to go to Jordan Miller. I know Isidro had a couple of takedowns, but he wasn't able to do anything with them. Miller was immediately back up, and he landed a lot of shots, and he landed consistently. You know, I think undoubtedly Jordan Miller took that second round.
So Josh, as we start the third, you've got it very delicately balanced.
Yeah, I think it's Isidro took the first round with good positional control. Jordan Miller with some crisp striking in the second, all to play for here in the third.
So it really is a question of the game plans here. If Miller can keep it like this, he could go on to take the fight. Isidro, I feel, needs to start to take it to ground earlier this round.
Yeah, I think they both need to do exactly what they did in the respective rounds they won. As you say, Isidro needs to look for that takedown early and try and get a lot of positional control on the ground.
This time the right hand rocked Isidro. You saw no response. He slipped on there. That right hand hurt him for the first time.
Yeah, and you can see he's making those motions of he needs to close the distance and shoot again. Catching the kick back, another big high crotch. Huge slam, but oh, and again, just too much space, allowing Miller to pop straight back up.
Yes, it looks impressive, but again, Miller, he rocked Isidro this time.
Yeah, Isidro, Gable gripping very nicely, trying to stay as tight as possible. Let's see if he can leg reap again.
Finally gets where he needs to be.
Miller making a motion as though he was going to go for some rubber guard briefly. But we're going to see what his guard's like here. I think he's going to be content to try and just hold Isidro close and tie him up as much as possible.
Yes, because of the success he's had. And when you look at, as you said about scoring the rounds, this is where Isidro really needs to work now. Miller trying to make it difficult for him with that elbow.
Yeah, Isidro needs to try and get some posture, throw some ground and pound of his own, or make an attempt to pass.
Because this fight is still very tight and still in the balance.
I mean, Jordan Miller is the one working here primarily.
And the ground and pound attempt and closes the distance again, Isidro.
I think if Jordan Miller makes those motions to try and explosively stand up, it's very, very hard to hold someone on the ground whose only intention is to get back to their feet. What's helping Isidro at this moment is that Jordan Miller is prepared to engage with him in this position.
So seeing Miller's success upright, would you see that as a mistake?
I think he needs to get back to his feet as soon as possible, and we see he's trying now. He's going to again walk up the cage and use the cage to scrape Isidro off his back. The catch is Isidro is clinging on so tightly, he's going to just try and reap the leg again, take the fight to, oh, well.
You've been impressed with Miller's cage awareness, that was the term you used, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that only comes through experience and through training it in the gym. It's to use the cage. The cage is a fantastic apparatus for controlling a position, if you're aware of it.
So they stood up again, and it did favour Miller early in this third. He rocked Alexander Isidro with a right hand.
He's got to be wary of that right kick getting caught and getting put.
I'm glad you said that. I would switch to the left leg to target the inside of Isidro's left leg. He's waiting for that right leg to take the takedown, whereas the lead left leg chopped that to Isidro's leg as well. Another right hand lands. He's got to be careful.
Ooh, just grazing the nose there. Isidro needs to do something here. He's standing flat-footed in front of his opponent, and there's the shot, but good solid sprawl from Miller.
Well, he's grown in confidence in this round. He's had much more success.
Yeah, hooking the leg nicely onto the outside to try and stall this takedown, and this is going to drain Isidro. Being sprawled out and failing on a takedown attempt is one of the most tiring things in MMA. Again, the huge slam is just creating too much space when they hit the ground, and it's allowing Jordan Miller to immediately pop back up to his feet and have another whole chance at his game plan.
Do you think when he watches this back, Isidro will rue these attempts?
I think if he's smart, he will. You know, I think the sensible thing would be to drag the opponent down, keep the nice tight control. yes, the huge slams do score a bit higher and they do get the crowd excited, but they're no good if you can't control the fight thereafter.
And that's one thing Miller hasn't allowed him to do. He hasn't allowed any dominance. He hasn't allowed the control, has he?
No, he certainly hasn't. He's done a good job trying to negate that, using the cage to scrape himself off, popping back to his feet. He's doing absolutely everything right here in the defensive context of groundwork and wrestling.
And being honest, Josh, if he had more concussive power, Isidro could have been in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. If Miller had a bit more pop to his punches, he's hit the target over and over again. Just hasn't been quite able to put him down. So, 3 hard-fought rounds. Where are you going?
It's a very tough one. It obviously, I think, comes down to that third round. And I honestly think Jordan Miller probably had the better of it. Yes, there were some big takedowns from Isidro, but that was all there were.
I agree with Josh. It's going to be tight. I err on the same side, but I've got a feeling we won't be certain which way this goes. I wouldn't like to put money on it. Let's put it that way, Josh.
We have gone all 3 rounds, and we have a judge's decision. We have a winner by unanimous decision. Fighting out of the blue corner, put your hands together for Jordan Miller. Big round of applause for his opponent tonight, Alexandre Isidro.
Hi, I'm here with Jordan Miller, the winner of the last fight of the evening, and your game plan was to stand up. How did you feel about how the fight went?
For the most part, it went according to plan. I hurt my right hand, sort of it's a recurring injury that I've had, and I sort of did it again right in the first round, so I was finding it difficult to step in and stay in, deliver the damage and step out. So I spent a lot of single shots, and I felt like I couldn't quite commit to the striking as much as I wanted to. Hats off to Alexandre though. He was very, very good at closing the distance, and he did get takedowns.
Yeah, we saw quite a few takedowns. How did you feel during that time?
To be honest, I felt confident. I've got a great wrestling coach. So every time we were on the floor, I knew I'd be able to get back up eventually. Sometimes you have to give away a position to obviously get back up. Hence, if I got mounted, I was giving my back. So it gave me the opportunity to get back to my feet and obviously do the damage.
All right, thanks very much, Jordan.
Cheers, thanks.
So we've come to the end of another fantastic Fusion Fighting Championships. I'm Tim Radcliffe, this is Andy James. We've taken you through the show. A couple of highlights from me tonight. I'll be honest, as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu aficionado myself, I loved the final fight. Isidro versus Jordan Miller, absolutely cracking. Great technical sweeps, transitions, submission attempts, loved it. Andy, what for you? What was the highlight?
There were some great takedowns in that fight too, but there was a spinning back fist that I loved, and that great haymaker knockout.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, knockouts are always good, aren't they? Anyway, that's enough from us. We look forward to seeing you at the next Fusion Fighting Championships. than 280.